Welcome back, everybody. The week one of the NFL has wrapped up. Obviously, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend, since last week. A lot of stuff has changed. We are back, though. Unfortunately, last week's episode wasn't able to process all the way through, so we did not upload it. But, man, you guys missed a great episode. And I know you guys will never hear it. But still, it was a good episode. But we are back today. It's me, Chris. It's me, Chris, and Domo tonight. Carlos is out until we can get all the tech stuff fixed out. It was a fun weekend for me, guys. This weekend I had the privilege of having family over for my daughter's second birthday. The nephews, my brother came. They all came down from Houston and spent the Saturday here with us, and it was a good time, man. It was a good time. A lot of pool jumps, and had some friends come over at the end of the night, and we just kind of drank a couple beers, and then just hung out by the pool. And then it got really cold out of nowhere, and now it's like windy as hell over here, and it's supposed to rain for the next 3 days. But that's Texas weather for you. And I had a blast. My daughter had got like a bunch of gifts, and she was super excited about all of them, and just like showing them off now. And our buddy Joel got her like some Air Max. They look like Air Maxes, but they're like Laker colored. It's pretty dope. And she's got better sneakers than I do, because all I do is buy Vans. So I'm a little jealous because they don't fit me. But still, it was a good weekend for me. Obviously, we had a lot of stuff to do. We planned the whole party really within like 2 weeks, and just kind of invited our family over. I was happy to see Chris, obviously, and then my nephew and his wife, and then see my parents and stuff like that. So it was a good weekend for me. Last week also was a good week. We're just kind of trucking it along. Chris, what about you, brother?
I know it was a dope weekend. It was an exhausting weekend as for driving. You got 4 hours to Dallas and 4 hours back in a matter of less than 24 hours, because I actually left Friday right after work. Me, my wife, and my baby, we drove, and we got, I think, 11:30 over there, if I'm not mistaken, around that
like
time.
11:30, something like that.
And with the wife and David, they were already knocked out, so they fell asleep, and I think me and Misa stayed out there for a couple hours just talking bad about Domo, talking bad about Carlos, pretty much on the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it was just say it to my face. Say it to my face.
It was a while since I've been able to sit down and talk to one of my brothers, so it was dope. And then obviously Saturday was all GG from beginning to end. And then Sunday, we got back Saturday night. Sunday, church. I didn't play at all, but we attended. And then,
nice.
Yeah, and then we just did a whole family thing, pretty much. Good family weekend, honestly. Well needed.
Yeah.
So it was dope on that end. And that's pretty much it for me. Domo, do you have anything special?
Not really. Real quick, how was it going to attend a church and not have to play and like do all that stuff?
So right now, for you guys know a little bit, I transitioned from a church that I was at for like 14 years to this new church, and this new church is obviously it's a big church. Luckily, they opened their doors for us, me as a musician. But this weekend, since I was out a little bit, I didn't play, and it was awesome. Like, my wife took videos. Me and David went up there, and my dad loves the church too, so he went with us. And you see David just jumping up in the front, because David is he loves music. So you can, if you ever come over, you'll see how many drum sets he has here, like the little kid drum sets. And so he's always been loving music since he was a baby. And I just love seeing him, like, pretty much joyful in the presence of the Lord. And I have no filter in saying that. So I love all that. So yeah, it was awesome to be able to worship with him, and obviously with my wife and my parents. And then right now we're doing some classes as well for the church, to become more like involved besides the music aspect of it, to also be involved in other ways. But yeah, bro, it was awesome, honestly. A well-needed little break on my end, at least.
Yeah, I was just asking because I know like how heavily you are involved in the worship team and everything. And I did when I was growing up playing drums in the worship band, and later on, and eventually got to the point for me where it was more of just like a chore to go do it.
Yeah.
So with how involved you are and how much you love it, and then you said you were able to go and just like attend church and not do anything, I figured maybe it was kind of a relaxing type of
no,
service.
You're 100% right, bro.
Yeah, you
100%
don't
right.
have to be there early. You don't have to, you just kind of go and chill
For
and
me,
be in the
like,
presence. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
good.
for me, like I said, like 14 years in a church and constantly working. And towards the end,
Yeah,
I was,
yeah.
the worship director and all that. I went to school for it, but,
Mhm.
so I was always like working. So yeah, taking a day off in my eyes is for your soul's needed, bro. Because you give
Absolutely,
so much.
absolutely.
It's fun sometimes to receive as well.
Yep,
There's a
100%.
lot of people that don't think like that, but that's an
I
issue.
get it. I get it. As for my week, obviously the same old grind like we all do. We just work, work, work. Got the family at home. Um, I worked Saturday. I did do some fishing Sunday morning. Got there about 7, left around noonish, little afternoon. We got bait for this coming weekend to go gar fishing again. So it was a good time. And the weather cooled down, so I
Yeah.
sweat nonstop. So I barely even sweat. It was amazing. It felt so good. Um, Drinking some beers, just hanging out with the boys, having a good time. That's about it. Besides, I got fishing coming up this weekend, so
Are you
that's
gonna
pretty
go
much all I
charter
do.
fishing
Work,
again or no?
fish. Not that I know of anytime soon. It could be. I mean, you never know. It could pop up, but
Yeah, that's true.
um,
It's
the
spontaneous
plan
type of
is
thing.
this weekend. It's not going to be this weekend. The plan is to hit the Brazos, maybe 30 minutes from my house, or we go to the dam at Lake Livingston again. The
Okay.
gar are always there, so I may go there. But and it's supposed to be either way. It's supposed to be like 69 degrees in the morning, so we get there at sunset, so it should be perfect. I mean, just absolutely
69
perfect.
degrees.
Yeah,
Whoa.
on Saturday. I
It's a good
mean, it's
number.
Texas. You never know, but that's what it's looking like. Right at 70, something like that. So that's pretty much all I do. I bought a new fishing rod last night. It's basically the same model that I have, just a lighter flex, but they're always sold out. So I'm gonna have like double. I'm gonna have the same setup. It's catch the fever, or like a, I don't know, like a neon orange, I guess, with
Hmm.
black metal rings, and then I'm gonna have the same reel on both of them. So it's gonna be like a. It'll look dope as fuck. I'm gonna look good.
Yeah, that's
So
tight.
you gotta
He
fish
said
good
he
to
said
look
I'm gonna
good.
look good.
Yeah, you gotta. If you look good, you play good. If you look good, you
Yeah.
fish good. So it'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So have you guys been watching? Do you guys? I don't know. This is just weird to ask, but any kind of guilty pleasure shows you guys watch or anything like that, like something or like documentaries or something on YouTube?
I
Because
got I
I've
got
Always
been
Sunny in
two.
on.
Philadelphia.
I got
So
two,
I've
bro.
got I've
Go ahead,
got
bro.
this thing lately, bro, on YouTube. My YouTube algorithm is all out of whack right now because I've been in like this like crime hit again, but courtroom like scenes that
Oh
like
yeah.
I would say
erupted and shit.
violence, courtroom violence. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much like that. Like right now I was watching
yeah.
one not while I was working, but I was watching one.
That's like authentic. That's authentic rage. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, dude.
some of
And
those
I
people that
just
attack. You know what I mean? Like it's like mainly parents, really, parents or brother and sister, like attack the killer or whoever it is. Like it's
yeah,
like
I got a
authentic.
question.
It's
I got a
authentic anger.
question. Question. You
what's
guys
up?
can be as honest or you guys can fake it. I'm gonna ask it anyways. If you, God forbid, were in that situation, is it valid to try to go after the person that is being convicted? In my eyes,
Absolutely.
like yes. You know what I mean? Like those parents that like reach over and trying to get that person, or that uncle that reaches over,
So
stuff like that.
I'll go first if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Misael. So is it valid? So is it valid that that's a certain question, because what you have to understand, and you're a parent. I mean, Misa, you're a parent. I'm a parent, right? So put yourself in their shoes. Like, let's say that person killed your son or daughter or something like that. Like, you got to understand the emotion, like the rage, and
Yeah.
then you're that close to that person. Like, if you just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if if that person's locked up or whatever, but if you're there in trial and all you have to do is just hop over this little door right here and get, one lick or just whatever you can do. I don't know. I kind of get it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess what I'm saying is you have to put yourself in their position, you know.
Because
So is
Yeah,
it
I
the
get
reason
valid?
I asked,
Looking probably not, but in the moment, it's like for me, I just want to strangle this motherfucker,
the
like
reason I asked,
yeah.
bro, just real quick, is because I follow a lot of these like crime junkie stuff, and
Mhm.
most of the time, like this would happen, or like the person, the family member is just like crying hysterically. So I
Mhm.
get that, but then you get those people that are like, why would you, like let the justice system do their thing? I'm on the side of, I get the emotional side of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of people just they're too like logical with it, and they're like, well, let the justice do its thing pretty much, and
Yeah,
get your emotions out of it. But I think what you're saying is like 100% facts. How can you take emotion out of something
I
that
think that's
big in
what it
my eyes?
is. Yeah, so I've seen videos, and I'm sure y'all have too, where so and so murdered so and so, and their dad or brother or mom is right there, and they are convicted, 100% guilty. They're doing life in prison, and they still get attacked. It's just like
Yeah.
the emotion, you know.
Yeah,
How
I
That's what I
could
think
you
I
think.
not
think
though?
So
like
Like,
for me,
right, right.
bro, like and like Domo said, you have to put yourself in that position because you do 100% of the way. If you're in that position and like Domo was saying, like, and he's only or he or she are only 6 feet apart from you, and all you got to do is hop this little fence. Like I'm gonna go in there and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
try to get as much as I can
even
out.
if he,
You know what I'm
even if
saying?
he is guilty, like I just want to
Yeah,
do it myself. That's I guess that's kind of the way I feel. Is like you're doing life in prison, blah blah blah. Well, it sounds fucked up, I guess, but like if something were to happen to my boy, I'd like to
yeah.
do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I need to take care of the justice system myself. Does that make sense?
yeah,
yeah,
yep,
Yeah, I don't know. So I wanted to ask because like I've been on that like crime documentaries and like police like body cams and stuff like that, and I'm just like I don't even know how I got into this rabbit hole, but I am like super addicted to them now, and that's like all my YouTube algorithms are. And every morning when I'm like, if I just click on YouTube, like that's the first video that's recommended, and they're like 50-minute videos, so it's like
yeah. They're not
watching.
short.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching an episode of something, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I wanted to ask if you guys were into like any kind of that crime documentaries
I
and stuff.
got
I know
a,
Chris is.
I got a buddy. Real quick, real side note. I got a buddy. He was just a police officer. He'd been there for I don't know 14, 15 years. Not going to say any names, but he's going on to be a marshal now. But he's shown me some body cam footage and stuff that of actual shit he's done. I mean, on the footage, nobody got hurt, nothing like that. It was all textbook, but it's intense, and you can hear him
Yeah, I bet.
like breathing as they're
Yeah.
breaching the door and clearing rooms. Like it's real body cam footage. It's pretty crazy.
Bro, a couple months ago, we did like a youth thing, with like various organizations, not just like a home church or anything like that. It was like a lot of youth, and we all went paintballing. And dude, I put my GoPro on my like the vest chest things. You seen them?
Oh
Like they're
yeah,
like right here.
yep,
So I took
yep,
my GoPro, bro. If I showed you that footage, that's all it is, just me breathing hysterically. So
yeah.
imagine, and those are paintballs. Imagine like real bullets. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole different type of vibe. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like all that stuff, everybody has like a guilty pleasure that they like watching, you know what I mean? And I get into these like mood swings where I'm just like, I want to watch that kind of stuff today, and I'll just watch it.
Can I tell you
But
what's
I've been
mine?
into that like crime
Yeah, go
stuff.
for it.
Yeah, what's yours?
Your turn,
For
Chris.
for maybe the 15th, 20th time, but
The Office.
it's Breaking Bad, bro.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Breaking
Dude.
Bad 2's coming out. You seen that? There's a
What?
trailer. You haven't seen it? Yeah, next year.
Uh-uh.
Oh no,
Look,
bro.
look up the trailer. You can look it up right now if you want to play it on YouTube right now. The brother-in-law survives. He digs himself out of the hole.
Hank?
Uh,
Nah, this
yes,
has got to be
Hank.
fake, bro.
Swear to God, look it up right now.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, but right now
the
I'm on
trailer came
season
out like a
5.
month ago.
So I'm on season 5 again. I've seen this series like 15 times
Me
already,
too. Me
from
too.
beginning
Me
to
too.
end.
And every
right
time I
now,
start it, I watch it all the way through.
yeah, I can't stop. So right now, the episode I just finished is one of my favorites. Season 5, the train heist, is
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
all-time favorite episodes in anything. So I just
Yep.
finished that episode, and it ended, if you guys recall, with the little kid with the tarantula in the jar,
On the
and
dirt bike.
yeah, and he just got shot. So yeah,
Yeah. That's such a good show, bro. And I'm not gonna lie. Look, after we did a couple episodes ago when we like recapped one of the Office scenes, from
Look it up,
that
Chris, look it
episode,
up.
I started watching The Office again, and I
Yeah.
just finished it again. My wife's like, "You're watching it again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, this is such a good show." But yeah, Breaking
the
Bad is like
trailer-
that too, and Breaking Bad has been coming back on my TikToks.
hold up,
And
you're
so,
right.
Like clips of it.
On the trailer, it's Bryan Cranston. He says, "Welcome to the Breaking Bad." Blah 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 trailer, and it shows like a whole thing.
He's 100%
Bryan
correct,
Cranston's-
Lisa.
Walter White survives.
What
Hank
the-
survives.
Yeah,
the
here.
whole-
I'm not gonna
yeah,
play
yeah.
it. I'm not gonna play it because obviously we're
Yeah.
recording an episode. But here's the picture of it. It's
Yeah.
Bryan
It's-
Cranston
it's-
as like an
it's
old
real.
dude, bro. Like bearded up.
It's real. He's in prison, actually.
Wow.
If you watch the trailer, he's in prison, and Hank's trying to get him to rat. And Better Call Saul, he shows up and it's like a
How have
whole
I not
ordeal.
seen
Yeah,
this?
Holy
yeah.
shit!
The
Yeah. All
trailer
right. I
just
need
came
to
out
watch
like
that
less
trailer
than a month
afterwards.
ago. Yeah, I'm
Yeah. I'm
telling
gonna.
you,
Okay,
I'm
I
it's
gonna
like a
have to
guess
2 or
I,
3
watch that,
minute
bro.
trailer.
I guess I'm gonna quit
Yeah,
my
I'm
job
gonna
and
have to
focus on
watch that,
this.
dude. Yeah, seriously, that's crazy. But yeah, so I don't know. That's a good thing to kind of recap off of though for a week. I'm glad everybody's safe, everybody's back, everybody enjoyed some football on Sunday and football last week. Chris, do we have our soundbite for our football so we can get into the football segment, or do you not
Yes, we
have it?
do. Sorry, I was trying to watch.
Took him, took
You
him.
jerk.
Yeah.
uh, any good jokes, guys?
Oh
While I look for
wow,
this.
dude. Yeah, good jokes. Yeah, I'll tell you a joke as soon as the football segment sound comes on.
There it is.
Banger.
All right, the NFL season has officially kicked off as of last Thursday. Week one was crazy. A lot of upset people in Vegas, probably with all the bets that they had going on, and over underscores went crazy. A lot of games that were played and a lot of games were watched.
Yeah.
Kicked off obviously on Thursday of last week with the Lions and the Chiefs and with probably one of the biggest upsets of the weekend. That one, and obviously a few more that everybody was kind of expecting to go the opposite way.
Last night was a big upset.
That last night as well, but the Thursday night game of Lions and Chiefs, Pat Mahomes obviously not having Travis Kelsey there was a big target. Receivers dropping dimed passes straight to the chest, dropping those passes. Really unfortunate for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially on banner night. Like you're dropping the banner, Super Bowl champ. You're contending. They just got their rings. The hype train is up, and then you lose to the Detroit Lions. Not saying that the Detroit Lions are a bad organization. They've obviously been playing a lot better over the last few years, but it's still the Detroit Lions, and the reigning champs have just lost and taken their first L of the year. And for the first time in a long time, the Lions are undefeated. And
Can we
that's how
talk
you
about
start
that game, bro? Talking
Yeah, absolutely.
about
Go for
you
it.
were talking about the receivers, specifically pointing out one, Kadarius Toney, which
Yeah,
is the guy
unbelievable.
that dropped so many dimes. He had 1 yard and one reception when he was open, and there was plays literally both hands on the ball bounced off of him. Like these guys are professionals. Like I remember in high school and junior high when I played football, the coach would put you on the bench if you touched the ball and you didn't catch it. You know what I mean? So these guys that are
Yep.
professionals that dedicate their life to that, it's kind of crazy
If
to
you're a
to see.
receiver, you get paid to catch the
Yeah,
ball. So if it hits you
exactly.
on your
But
hands, you should be catching the ball.
do you think it's just pressure? I mean, it has to be pressure, right? You're playing at home, banner night.
Yeah.
You're with the defending champs. It's got to be the pressure of the and the energy in the stadium. Obviously, Arrowhead is crazy when it comes to like the fans. But I agree with you, Chris, because there are a lot of the if you look at the replays or the highlights from that game or the lack thereof, the highlights, I guess. But if you look at that, a lot of those passes that were right to his chest or right in between his hands, it was just I don't know if it's like he took his eye off the ball, he turned too quick, or if it was just all the pressure of the game. Patrick Mahomes throws bullets, but you still got to be able to catch those as a
Well,
professional athlete.
just thank you for hitting that. Patrick Mahomes throws bullets. He does, but he's not one of the hardest quarterback throwers out there. There are
Yeah.
definitely some mentorable people that throw way harder than him, and their receivers catch balls. So this guy, Kadarius Toney, he's played for 2 years, 2.5 years pretty much. He started with the Giants, and now he's with KC. So he hasn't been like that go-to receiver, to say the least, like the wow receiver, like Tyreek Hill, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But in his career, he has a total of 592 yards, 56 receptions total. With the amount of attempts he had 5 attempts to catch and he only caught one.
Yeah.
So isn't that something
For
like that?
1
That
yard,
should
right?
speak for 1 yard.
There's
Yeah.
an argument.
Yeah.
There's an argument. Yeah, there's okay. So he's young, right? And like you said, the adrenaline. You're there, the home opener, and you got Mahomes throwing it to you, and Mahomes is putting it just like Brady, Rogers, Breeze, all those guys putting it right on your hands. If it's on your hands, you get paid to catch the ball. If it hits your fingertips, you should be catching it with the gloves and all that shit. If it hits you in the
Yep.
chest, you should be catching it. I'm wondering if possibly, like you said, adrenaline, all that stuff, you're kind of in the moment, and at the same time you're having to step up because Kelsey's out.
Yeah.
And then two, or I guess third, I would think a little bit of that. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm not defending him. That's a lot of drop passes. And if you're looking and you got it, maybe you are looking, okay, I'm going to catch it and go to the end zone or get 5 more yards or whatever, which you shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, I wonder if some of it's timing. It is week 1 and you do preseason and all that stuff. But I've said before, I don't really watch much preseason because it's not, nobody's
Yeah.
going 100% besides the guys that are trying to make the team. Guys that have contracts already, they're already on the team. Let's just get this over with, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think some of it, at least week 1, is like some jitter, some bugs and stuff like that. But I think some of it's timing is he had to step up, and other players did too because Kelsey's out, and Kelsey's a huge part of that offensive scheme.
Mhm.
But I think a big part of it was just timing in a sense of like when he's looking back, yeah, it hit him in the hands. Maybe he didn't look at the right time, or they weren't on the same page and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So now let me ask you guys though, from what you guys saw, if you guys watched the full game or not, but from if whatever you guys saw in recap highlights and all that stuff, do the Lions look like they're going to be a potential threat? Obviously, that division now is going to be kind of crazier now without Aaron, but obviously the Packers. We'll talk about them too. But do you think that the Lions are going to make a potential push,
So-
or with this hot, because it's a hot start regardless? Yes, it's
Yeah.
only one game, but you just beat the defending champions at home with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid still there, obviously. So, do you think that this is that motivation that they need to start the season with?
At the same time, it was a 1-point win, but
Mhm.
unlike other sports like NBA 82 games, NHL's 82 games, but you get 2 points for a win, blah blah blah. College football, NFL football, a win's a win. So 1 point, 20 points, and you start off with a win. That's a good foundation, even though it's a 1-point win, like you said, against the champ. So
I
Yeah.
think for me, because I watched the pretty much the extent of the full game. Offensive wise, I don't think the Lions were like there. Honestly speaking, it was a defensive game. Like we
For
were saying
them,
last
right?
week with, Sorry.
You're saying for them, for the Lions, it was a
Yeah, because
mainly
KC
defensive
is
focus?
an offensive team. I think we said that last week too. They put up
Yeah.
a lot of points throughout the season, so they're not really good on the defensive side. So that shows that the Lions are lacking on their offensive because they scored 21 points, but there was a pick in there. There was a lot of defensive plays that happened for them to get to 21. So I really think that right now the Lions, they need to focus more on their offensive side. Jared Goff did throw 1 TD. He was 22 for 35 with 253 yards. So it was to me it was a great game for him, especially coming off, first regular season game against the reigning champs on their banner night. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 TDs, but he did have 1 pick. That pick, in my eyes, wasn't his fault. That was the little fumble of the ball not being caught.
it
You
was
know
a
what I mean?
pick 6, right or no?
Yeah. So
It was a pick 6, though. There you go.
so that's what I'm saying. Like that pick to me, that's crazy how picks work. I would get it if the interception happened, if you threw it directly to the defender. I understand that, but for this one to count under him is kind of crazy to me because it literally hit the guy's hands, bro, and it just bounced off. And luckily, the defender one hand caught it and ran it in. So
what do y'all think about this? So just to go along with what you're saying, Chris, like you throw up a dime, right, and it bounces off the receiver's hands, the defender gets it. That's an interception on the quarterback. What about the quarterback that throws a 5-yard screen pass for 80 yards and the quarterback gets those 80 yards? He threw a 5-yard pass. The rusher, the runner's the one that got the 80, right?
I never thought about that, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I can't stand it. I can't stand it because it works both
I don't
ways,
like that. I don't like that statistic, Domo. Like you're 100% correct. Like I don't agree with it because it's like you said, a little dump pass or a little screen pass or a little shovel pass. Sometimes like just forward. If he made a forward pass, all those
He gets all those
after a
yards.
catch, he gets all that accounted. And it's
But
like,
a
dude, the
ball that
running
gets
back had
tipped
to
5
bomb
times.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, a ball gets tipped 5 times. At that point, the passer has nothing to do with it. It's like boom, 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 bouncing around.
Yeah.
And now it's an interception. It goes against the quarterback's rating, all that stuff. And so you can't. I feel like you can't have it both ways, but that's the way the NFL and I guess college football too. They do the same thing.
Because that's contradicting itself because like what you're saying with the whole rushing thing in the sense of like a screen or a play action, something like that, those get counted. But the interception, to me, like that interception shouldn't have counted. If you see the play, hits the receiver's hands, both hands, bounces off, and then it was a miraculous interception, yes, because it was one-handed and
Oh,
everything. It was
right.
real pretty.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should go against Patrick Mahomes' like record or his stats or whatever.
I agree.
His
I agree.
QBR,
But
yeah, because
you're gonna find people that think the other way.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes had a passer rating of 77.5, which I think is his lowest in his
That's not
career, if
good.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That is
for
a very
him,
low
that's not good.
passer
That's
rating.
not good.
Especially for him. There was 3 top QBs that actually had a below 80% passer rating. With him, Josh Allen had a 62.7, and Joe Burrow had a 52.2 this last week, which is a very low for these top tier QBs, the future of the NFL, obviously quarterback wise. And then the surprise QB rating of this week, but we'll get into that in a little bit, is Zach Wilson with an 81.4. But I just think that the Lions, I agree with Chris that they still need to work on their offensive side, and the scheme needs to come in together, because you can't – defense wins championships, we know, but to win games to get to the championship, you need to have offensive points. Like you can't – your defense isn't going to score for you. You know what I mean? Every drive.
Especially when you have offenses in the league, especially it's 1 week, right? So let's everybody panic, right? But it's like you have a great defense. You have a great defense, but for how long? Because as the season goes on, people get hurt and everything like that. You need to have a healthy balance, and when you get to the playoffs, defense needs to be there for sure.
So for like Aaron Rodgers said it on a podcast, and it's 100%. I think it's 100% facts. When 49ers fans hate Aaron Rodgers, so not hate him, but you know what I mean, like in the sense of he's
they
always
hate him, but they always beat him.
Yeah,
so I don't get it.
So, but what he says is like, okay, your number one defense gets you how far, because you have the number one defense for years, but there's not a single ring on the finger. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the happy balance of, yes, have a super power defense, but you got to put up points too. Like we had this problem with Jimmy G, and I'm a Jimmy G. I love him, like not like that, you know what I mean? But but yeah, he's to me, he's like a good quarterback.
A jock sniffer. A jock sniffer.
he's a good quarterback in my eyes. Yes, he did do a lot of mistakes. Yes, but in the sense of he was solid. I'd rather have him than Matt Schaub or something like that. You know what I mean? So
real quick. So with Jimmy G, like you said, good quarterback in your eyes, and I do agree with you. What do you think carried him? He could make those mistakes because that 49er defense would step up. You don't want to make the mistakes, but if he did, he knew the defense was behind him and they could make up for it, and they did.
Which is a balance. I know. I'm actually thinking the other way around. I think he was so fall back on the defense that he was happy with throwing picks and fumbling the ball and doing stupid plays. So you have to have that happy medium where your defense, yes, it's solid, but your offense also needs to be able to run, be able to catch balls in the air, and then the special teams. Everything needs to work together. That's what a Super Bowl winning team is. Kansas City,
that's what I was saying.
High points, but also has a solid defense. They're not the worst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They just give up a lot of points.
That's what I was saying during the regular season.
Defense. Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. Like during the regular season, like to have a balance, but to have a good offense, a good defense, and then when it comes to playoffs, the defense got to be there. The defense, because if the offense struggles a little bit, the other team's going to capitalize on that. So getting to you have to have a balance, like we're saying, and then playoff time, the defense has to be solid. If not, it's going to be a rough run.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, and so here's the thing with Kansas City that we've always said. They're obviously a high-powered offense. They can score a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points on their defense. Their defense, like Chris said, isn't bad. They just they give up a lot of points because they also rely on the offense to put up a lot of points. In this case, a 20-point game for them is very low for a Chiefs offense. But it wasn't the Chiefs offense that we're used to. Travis Kelce not being there is a big factor. Even though he's a tight end, he's a big part of that offensive team. He's a big part of the offensive scheme. To become
huge part
to be there for Pat Mahomes when he needs a way out,
blocking everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge part.
Yeah, he's a big part in it. So I think that it's a reality check for Chiefs and for Chiefs fans that yes, you are the Super Bowl contending champ. Everybody's coming after you right now. The Detroit Lions came in and they said we're going to win this game, and they did win it. Granted, it was by one measly point. Yeah, and then they ended up taking the dub. Obviously, undefeated now, and the Chiefs are having a losing record. But it's week 1, y'all. So just like we
I
say
was,
when baseball
that's what I was
starts,
about to say.
take
Saying
take a step
saying
back.
unde-
It's week 1.
saying undefeated on week 1 is crazy because it's like, bro, it's
Yeah.
just one game.
Yeah. So there's obviously way more important things that are going to come up. Come in week 9 and shit, and see where your record is then.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
right now we're in
So,
week 1. It's a crazy start to the season because you have your defending champs against a mediocre Lions team that came to play, and they ended up taking the win with that momentum. They're looking to keep going. Obviously, that division and their division is up for grabs for now. And obviously with everything kind of piecing together, we'll see how that goes. Other
well,
games
I
though,
will say,
uh huh,
Green Bay won, Detroit won. The other two
yeah,
teams in the division lost, Minnesota and Chicago.
yeah.
So,
So
Minnesota.
I'm glad you said that because other games that I wanted to talk about too, and I'm sure that Domo, you probably have a bunch to talk about with Green Bay, with the Jordan Love era starting now. Obviously beating the Bears. The Bears are well,
Bears.
they're the Bears. So they
Bears, yeah.
the Packers have had their number in the Rodgers
Had
era,
their
and
way with them.
now
Had their way with
yeah.
them is what it is. Had their
Yeah.
way.
So, you have any hot takes on that game, Domo? I know it's your team, so I know you probably
I
religiously
didn't
watched it.
watch. I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I was
Damn.
about to say, bro.
No, no, no.
I
So,
believed you.
so I already knew this going in. I mean, and I would say most of the NFL nation knew this going in. But like to hear it like on TV and everything, if you think about it, since 1991 all the way to 2023, Green Bay's only had two quarterbacks. Brett Favre, have you ever heard of him? And Aaron Rodgers, you ever heard of him? They've only had two
Neither.
quarterbacks. Yeah, they've only had two quarterbacks in the last 30 years. Two. Both Super Bowls, both MVPs, winning records, blah, 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 right? So just I guess to hear it on TV, I already knew it, but like to hear it, it was like, damn, that is crazy though. Two
That is.
quarterbacks in
Yeah.
30 years. And both quarterbacks kept the franchise afloat. Like they win, Not every Super Bowl, obviously, none of that stuff, but like they're always in the playoffs. They're always relevant. So that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
crazy. So it made me think of like, and the same thing, like when Rodgers got drafted, he sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years. When Love got drafted, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. So it's like they developed through the draft, and what I'm saying right now, I'm calling my shot in the sense of like 10 years, 15, 18 years from now, is it still going to be the Jordan Love Green Bay Packers? And now they've had three quarterbacks in the last 40 years, 45
So
years. You know what I
you
mean?
as you as
It's
a
crazy
Packer
to think
fan,
about. Like,
you as a Packer fan though, how did you feel with Jordan Love's performance? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching him play out there. I enjoyed the defense of Green Bay was up there too, but I enjoyed Jordan Love's performance because
absolutely.
you're taking the lead this season, so it's your first time doing it, so it's
Hmm.
definitely a lot of pressure on you. But I enjoyed his performance,
Yep.
and I told Joel the same thing. I was like, he's not playing bad, like he's playing comfortable. He still needs to find his rhythm, obviously, throughout time. That's gonna come. But I mean, I thought he had a good performance. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
So I got several things, and I do agree with you. Several things to say about it. I think he played well, and I was honestly surprised because like I brought up a couple of podcasts ago during the preseason his numbers, and he only played. I forget. It was like I think he passed like 30 times during the whole preseason.
Mm-hmm.
3 touchdowns, no picks. It was like 25 for 33 or something like that. It was really good numbers. So I was surprised with it, like an actual game. The real pressure's on. He did really well. No interceptions, 3 touchdowns if I remember right. He had really good decision making. He got sacked a couple times. I agree with you again about the Green Bay defense. They look really good, and I think that's going to be, to go back to the defense, that's going to be a strong point, especially for a rookie quarterback, in the sense of taking this is his team now, and with Matt LaFleur,
Mm-hmm.
and that was another thing the announcers brought up is over the last several years with Matt LaFleur, it was his team and Aaron Rodgers' team. Now that Rodgers is gone, and with this young quarterback, this is Matt LaFleur saying, "This is how I want this offense to run," and he's in more control, and it looked good. It looked really good. Um, I will
Had a
say
high
that
QB rating.
no, he did. He did. Yeah, he looked really good.
123.2.
Not that I was surprised, but I guess a little surprised. I guess watching the game, I was like, oh wow. Like I didn't really feel like it was going to be that good. Granted, Chicago did shoot themselves in the foot a few times. I mean, they were a bit sloppy, but at the same time, as the defense took over from Green Bay, it just got worse and worse for their offense. So
Yeah.
it worked out good. I was a little surprised on how it turned out, and we'll just have to take it week by week. But Green
So
Bay's looking good. I like the look. I like
so
it.
let me ask you, and I'm just gonna keep asking you questions on it because obviously they're
Yeah,
your
go for it.
team, but with Jordan Love, obviously he went 15 for 27, 245 yards. He averaged 9.1 yards per pass, three TDs, and then he got a 123.2 rating. Now Aaron Jones on the running side,
Mhm.
are you worried with that injury that when he limped off the field? Because when I was watching the game, I was like, damn,
Mhm.
that's a
Mhm.
big key too for them too, is
100%,
that
a
running game.
million percent. Yep, yep. Because they went to Dylan after that, and Dylan he didn't really have
Hmm.
much. And when Dylan, so they have the combination of Jones and Dylan, and when they're both going, they feed off each other, and it just works. So if one leaves the game,
Yeah.
boom, it just still goes. Obviously, when the second half started, if you remember, Jones took the game over. And that's what Matt LaFleur he had
Yep.
said coming out of the second half or going into the second half, something like that. He's when he get the running game going, running game, boom, touchdown, like and then he got hurt, and then everything kind of slowed down. But Green Bay's defense took over. So yes, the Jones injury, I haven't seen today, like what's going on with it. He had his helmet and everything back on, if I remember right. I don't know if he actually played again towards the end of the game, but with him being hurt, that's a huge part, just like a Kelsey to a Kansas City team.
Yeah.
Dylan's a great running back, but they have to work together. They have a tandem, and if one's out, and it showed if when Jones went out, Dylan really didn't do much. Jones is the one dominating. If they're both feeding off each other, they do dominate. The years prior, or years previous.
So I mean, Jones was dominating running and he was receiving too because he also had two
Mhm.
receptions, 86 yards, and he had one TD on the rushing side and one TD on the
Mhm.
receiving side. He only had 41 yards rushing, but I remember watching one of his breakout runs. I think the one that he actually got injured on, which was the TD run, where
Yeah, he
it looked
started
like he just
limping
kind of
right. Yeah.
hyperextended his hamstring, but which
Mhm.
isn't a big. It's not a season ending injury, but it is still pretty big for a running back. Obviously, for any kind of player out there on the field, it's a huge impact. But I know that offense, like you said, they run a tandem running back duo, so they feed off
Yeah.
of each other. So that is going to change the structure or the scheming. Matt LaFleur is going to have to come up with something. But I really enjoyed the Packers' performance because everybody has cut them so short already, including myself.
Yeah.
You know, with them losing Aaron
Yep. Yep.
Rodgers
Yep.
and not really having their top receivers anymore, the defense kind of rebuilding, and then so you're like, what are they going to do? But I think that they started off their season really well. I think that the team chemistry is there with Jordan Love behind center, and I think that Aaron Jones is going to be a big key factor for that offense as long as he can stay healthy. Hopefully, he comes back. He
100%.
may
Yeah.
take this week off, but hopefully he'll come back in the next week or two, and he's just still as dominant as he was. Because having 86 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown is huge, especially with Jordan Love being behind center now, and we don't know what his potential is going to be. But I think he had a great performance. Hats off to Packer fans and to Jordan Love for such a good performance this week. In my opinion,
Yeah.
that's the way I kind of
Yeah.
looked at that game.
Green Bay overall. If I gave them a rating, Green Bay overall, um, they exceeded my expectations in a sense of like I didn't know what to expect. I'm glad they won and everything like that, but it like the whole drama, Aaron Rodgers leaving, and it wasn't just Aaron Rodgers. Randall Cobb left. He's an older receiver, I
Yeah,
know. There's other players, other defensive players, and over the past couple of years, the team has kind of downsized a little bit. But through the draft they build, they've always done that. Green Bay's not known for trading for Tom Brady or like a big like crazy
yeah, yeah.
player. Maybe Tom Brady's a bad example, obviously, but like they don't just trade for a big player. Like they build through the draft. So I'd say week one, I'm impressed, and I didn't think it was going to be that good. Obviously, they played Chicago, and Chicago is Chicago. There's a lot of hype around them, but I mean, like I said, like I told a bunch of people, I was kind of surprised, but no Aaron Rodgers, no problem. They got the job done, and they
Yep.
dominated.
I
And
mean, and
there you go.
that's what matters most, right? Is you get the win
Mhm.
on that Sunday, and then you move on to next week. You prepare, and then you play your heart out for next week. The team
Yeah.
that I was also looking at, Chris, and this one's directed towards you, is the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. I had told
Mhm.
Chris before we started recording that I was extremely surprised that the score was so close in the first quarter when it was only 7-6,
Oh,
and then I
I
don't
was
know what
like, they're
happened.
so close. Excuse me. Like,
Yeah, in the first quarter, I just remember it was like ending of quarter number one, and it was 7-6, and I was like, "Holy shit, they're about to beat the Ravens." I should have known better, but but Chris, what did you feel? I know that they're not your top team, but I know that you follow them a lot because you're in Houston. So
So
how'd you feel about that game?
So I'll start off with just like you guys did with the quarterback situation. Houston's obviously going through their whole rebuilding stage for the past couple of years already. D'Amico Ryan as our head coach is looking solid because the Texans, in a sense, they need somebody that's going to lead them to win, obviously. And CJ Stroud being, he just got picked up this season. He threw no picks. He didn't have a single touchdown either, but he was 28 for 44 with 242 yards. Well, then there was no touchdowns, bro. It was 6-0 with field goals.
So what did he do?
He didn't
What
throw
did
an
he do?
interception. But CJ Stroud, and as his first game in the NFL, he obviously did not have a quarterback to fall off on, like saying, I'm going to learn from this guy. Nothing like that. The head coach situation's always been iffy. This is his first year. So no one's expecting the Texans to even be considerate even in the playoffs.
Right.
Not even Houston's natives are thinking that. They're mostly thinking, hey, we just want to at least get 6 wins this season. That's a winning season to them because of what they're coming from. So, CJ Stroud,
Agreed.
242 yards, had a rating of 78. It's his first game. The end score was 25-9. And I just want to correct Miso real quick. They didn't have a.
I was about to correct myself. I was about to correct myself.
They didn't score in the first quarter.
But let me correct
Chris,
myself.
tell him.
But
Yeah,
you're garbage. You're garbage at your job, and no, they scored in the second quarter. 2 field goals, and then in the fourth quarter they scored a field goal again. But the Baltimore Ravens, man, they've always been a contending team, a team that to fear, even when they had Ray Lewis, especially when they had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. But now they're going into this new wave with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's been there for years. He didn't have a single touchdown either. It was a running game for him.
It's a good point. That's a good point.
OBJ is there now. He was 2 for 37, and right now, I don't know, who knows, but the Ravens look like a solid team. The Texans, obviously, they got a lot of stuff to fix. It's something that we knew for years.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I know that might be a hot take, but I'm going to disagree with you that the Ravens look like a solid team.
Okay.
I think that a powerhouse Raven team should have ran through the Texans a lot more than they did. And Lamar Jackson, I know he's a mobile QB, great and all, but you need to throw touchdowns. You cannot he's a quarterback. Like at the end of the day,
he does. He
exactly,
normally throws them and rushes them.
Exactly. So that's the thing, though, is like you're playing a Texans defense who is completely rebuilding, a Texans offense who's completely rebuilding. The front office is rebuilding. You need to throw up a couple touchdowns and obliterate them in your home opening because it's the Houston Texans. Not because they're playing. If they were playing a powerhouse team, for example, like let's say they were playing the Packers after this Sunday, right? That I expect to be a lot closer. Even though the score doesn't show, it's 25-9. I feel like Lamar Jackson should have at least thrown 2 TDs. You have a top receiver now with OBJ. Obviously, that's a hot take too because he's not necessarily a great receiver anymore. He has a highlight reel is what he has. But I still think that he should be able to throw a couple of touchdowns on a Texans defense who isn't there. You know what I mean? Like the defense isn't what they used to be. It's not a JJ Watt defense or you know what I mean? Or like a Brian Cushing defense.
Whitney Merciless.
But
Yeah,
I think
Brian
the
Cushing.
hot take there is that yes, the Clowney and then the whole JJ Watt era and all that stuff, but they didn't have a solid coach. And D'Amico Ryans is a defensive coach, so in the sense of this is their first game with a brand new coach, like a real game, preseason. Like Domo said, we don't really. I didn't watch a single preseason game. I don't know if y'all did.
Yeah.
I catch a couple highlights and that's
I
it.
watched like a quarter of one, maybe.
Yeah, but they're not even hitting each other fully. Like I don't know who said it right now, but like just the guys that want to make the team are the ones playing their heart out. Everybody else, they don't really care. So like
guys that got contracts, they're already there.
They're set.
They're just getting the reps in. Yeah.
Now Lamar Jackson not throwing a single touchdown with a receiver like OBJ. He has Zay Flowers there too. They still scored 25 points at the end of the day. They still put up points on the scoreboard.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that the Texans didn't play well because at least they put up field goals. I mean, this is what they were doing last year too. What I meant to say is that a Ravens powerhouse team should be able to put points up, more points than that, and throw a touchdown or two. I think, and I'm not saying that because the Texans are that bad. I'm just saying because the Texans are rebuilding, so you should be able to
I
stack
got you.
those points up. Lamar Jackson, although I know he's a mobile QB, and I love him for that because he is a great QB out of pocket, he should still be able to throw a touchdown or two, in my opinion, to a team that's rebuilding. Now, next week or the following weeks, he's going to start obviously releasing that cannon more. I just think that somebody that wanted such a big contract should be able to throw a touchdown or two on a Houston Texans.
You mean like Joe Burrow got paid that big ass fucking contract and
Whatever.
Exactly.
threw for what 80 yards or some shit?
Don't talk about
Yeah.
my boy Shiesty like
Jesus
that. Right?
But that's what I meant, though. Like, I understand the Texans are completely rebuilding right now, but that's why I think teams should take advantage of that and stat the points up. You know what I mean? Lamar
Yeah,
I got
Jackson
you.
should have easily stacked up
But
points.
yeah, but
It's kind of like
why?
kind of like the Giants and Dallas. The Giants were the only team in this whole Sunday, Thursday, and Monday that didn't score a single point, and it was 40-0. Now I love what Richard Sherman said on ESPN. He was like, "Okay, 40-0, but it's the Giants."
Yeah.
It's like they're not that team anymore with Eli Manning. Like, what do you expect?
Exactly.
You can't tell a Cowboy fan that.
No, you cannot tell
A Cowboy fan right now is like, well, we're undefeated. You're not. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
What I will say is, do you want to bust your nut on the first week? There's a lot of fucking football left. You know what I mean? Don't bust it right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Bust it towards the end.
Yeah. So, but before we get to the Sunday night game, let's tap into the few of the Sunday games because there's still a few more that I kind of wanted to tap into, and we'll close the Sunday night and the Monday night. No, because I know that there's a lot of takes on that Cowboy game, especially on Cowboy fans. But did Chris? We're gonna go back to you now because you said don't make fun of my boy Joe Shiesty. What happened over there? With Joe Shiesty.
It's simple, bro. He got paid, bro. He's still high on the payday, bro. He signed and he was like, "Yeah, good." And who did he lose to?
He's like, I got mine. Yeah.
Who did he lose to? My old boy, Deshaun Watson. So I mean,
you lost to Cleveland, bro.
Yeah, you lost to Cleveland, and you didn't just
been
lose
the past couple of years.
I think you got obliterated because it was 24-3.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
You know,
I want to say Joe Burrow had like 82 yards passing, something like that.
Your
leading rusher had less than 100 yards. It was bad. It was bad.
It was terrible.
And not a good. you just signed that big contract. You got to do something.
Jamar Chase had 39 yards receiving. Like, that's horrible, dude. For such a top tier receiver, too. Higgins, nothing on there.
Chris Evans is
Joe
also
Mixon.
Yeah. I think we were saying before we started.
Mixon only had 56 yards.
Video,
yep.
Before we started the podcast, the video, if I remember right, I think it was part of my take that said it. I can't remember, but last year the Bengals started 0-2, and then they went to the conference finals or whatever, the conference championship. So this isn't new territory. You know what I mean? They did the same thing last year. Granted, this is 0-1, but
I just think it's bad that bad of a loss, especially like Chris said, like he got his payday and then you just don't show out, man.
Lay an egg,
Like immediately, bro. Like I bet you the front office is like, hey, did he cash that check already, or can we take that back?
Was he hungover?
Can we make that bounce still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all give him the company card? Can you look and see where he was running that company card at?
Yeah, seriously, dude. Joe Shiesty, though, obviously there's still so much football left, so he'll catch his stride. And like Domo was saying, last year they started 0-2 or whatever, and they made the conference championship. It's no big worry, but it is kind of crazy to see a top QB and a top receiver and a top tier running back not even put up a touchdown to the Browns, to say the least, like to the Cleveland Browns, who have Deshaun Watson, who was always a good QB, obviously mobile QB. Obviously he went through his shit, but when it came down to him throwing the ball or him finding an open receiver, although I did see one of his interceptions, horrible pass to a wide open defensive player. So he must be hanging out with Dak Prescott from this last year, because that was just a intended interception. Any other games on Sundays that you guys watched?
Yeah,
I like how Dallas is so high on winning. We won 40-0, and their offense didn't do shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like we're so good, and it's like your offense didn't do a fucking thing, bro. Like Like, your offense needs to score if you want to win. Like,
We could go into Cowboys real quick. Thanks
Yeah,
for bringing that
go.
up. 13 for 24, Dak Prescott. For a score of 40-0, he only threw 143 yards.
Jesus,
So you can definitely see not a single touchdown.
we them boys. We them
Tony
boys.
Pollard, if
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying that correctly,
this is
scored two
the
TDs. But
yeah, but this is that perfect balance that we say. Your defense can be great, but if you have a shit guy behind the center, like, what are you gonna do? Like, what?
There's got to be a balance, and when the playoff hits, your defense has to step up.
because
But
obviously the
you
Giants
can ride your defense, and there you go. Like,
you could put the Giants, like the Texans and the Giants and a handful of other teams that you can say they're kind of like we said, like last year, like they're like another bye week because it's like a kind of a for sure win, kind of, So, the Cowboys going 40-0 doesn't mean they're going to go 40-0 in the playoffs. Obviously, we've seen it in years past. They won't. Now, I forgot who said it on ESPN, but they were saying that the Cowboys are the most well-built team. So what is not working for Cowboys? Obviously, the quarterback position,
Dak
in my
Prescott.
eyes. Yeah. But what else? Like, defensive-wise, they're solid.
Hasn't done shit.
Yep.
He
They're
demanded
good
all that money. Yeah, but so Dak Prescott, what you're saying is like he did. That's the weak position right now.
Yeah.
When he came to his contract, he was holding out. He wanted more money, and I said then he wanted Aaron Rodgers money, he wanted Tom Brady money, he wanted Drew Brees money.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't done shit.
Yeah.
You haven't even made the conference final. You haven't done nothing, man. You won
You don't deserve that.
one playoff game. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they gave him the money and still hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
He
Joe
wanted
Shiesty,
that
you're on it.
money and he got it, but he hadn't done nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
One playoff win, I think.
So here's my take with the Cowboys, right? Like Domo said, like, yeah,
He's
you
got a
beat
good
the Giants
agent.
40
His
to
agent's
0.
real good.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely. He negotiated the hell out of that deal. But you beat the Giants 40-0. Yay, whoop-de fucking do, but it's there's no offensive structure there. Tony Pollard, a great running back. I'm not going to dog him because he is a good running back. I think that he is going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. And I said that before we kicked off the NFL season. I think that he is going to have a good season. But
I don't remember that. I don't remember
if you don't have a solid QB behind center, you're going to struggle all through the playoffs, even if you make it that far.
The center and the quarterback get the most touches.
Yep.
So if they're not solid, your offensive line or your offensive game is not going to be good. They get the most touches.
That's why last episode when we're starting to talk football again, quarterback to me is the most important position on the football field because he touches the ball the most.
Yeah.
Like it leaves from him. Whether it goes to a running back, what if it's a bad flick? Like there's a lot at play for the quarterback to be a good quarterback, and Dak Prescott has proved year after year that he's not him to me. Now you ask a Cowboys fan that, like a diehard Cowboys fan, they'll say the opposite. But to me, it's just
like he's so bad. No, he's so bad that he even screwed up the Vegas bets on how many picks he was going to throw because he didn't even fucking throw one this Sunday. So he's just bad on all kind of sides. You know what I mean? Like,
did you see the video where he signed a like a jersey or a hat, and he's
like, well, this is not a.
I think it was green. It was a Green Bay hat, I think, right?
Yeah, it was.
He's like, did I just sign a Green Bay jersey? And that kid's like, pendejo, and fucking runs off. He didn't say that, but I would imagine that kid's you fucking dumbass.
Oh, dude. So have you seen the meme that's like been going on Instagram, and it's like a picture of his cologne. It's like the Dak 4 cologne, and it says, "For the nights you don't want to score."
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean the Cowboy fans are gonna be hot on this until they take the L. Hopefully they take it next week, but they are gonna
always
be hot
take
on
the
this
L, and they still don't give up.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, last year Dak Prescott led the league in interceptions. There you go.
Yeah, and then so he has to step up his game behind center. He has to be able to throw a couple touchdowns. Same thing with Lamar. Same thing with obviously with Joe Burrow. They got to throw. You have to throw TDs. That's the only way you're going to win, especially as a top tier QB. If you consider yourself a top tier QB, you need to take that win. Other notable games: Eagles Patriots 25-20, Rams Seahawks 30-13. And then you had the Buccaneers beat the Vikings 20-17. The Vikings are my fraud team this year.
I was surprised.
Did you see?
I was surprised by that.
Did you see what I forgot what his name was, bro. Oh my goodness.
You're
Buccaneers.
doing what I do.
Buccaneers
Drawing a blank.
quarterback.
The pressure. Don't let the
Baker
pressure get to
Mayfield?
you.
Yeah, what he told the receiver,
Think.
one of the defensive backs, whenever he was running towards him, he said, "Hit the weight room, little boy."
Damn.
Oh,
like, damn.
hell no. He said that for real?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the soundbite?
What?
You probably can't find it, Chris, but have you heard the soundbite of Geno Smith getting rushed by Aaron Donald? And all you hear is, because he's not mic'd up, but the field mics capture it, and all you hear is as soon as Geno snaps the ball and he sees Aaron Donald running right at him, and all you hear him say is, "Oh my God!" And he just jumps into the floor because he's like, "Dude, he's right on me." I wouldn't want Aaron Donald rushing at me for one. That
I wouldn't
trained
either.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that's a big dude. That's a
I'd play on his
yeah.
team.
For real, dude.
Just switch sides real
I would
quick.
just give him the ball.
Another notable game that we could hit real quick is the Niners and Steelers.
Yep.
Just because it is Brock Purdy's first game as our leading quarterback, Christian McCaffrey looks solid. The whole team looks solid, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Team looked good.
Now I say this, and we're playing the Steelers, so it's not like it's the same thing with the whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't have to say it.
I
But
get
yeah,
it,
so
I
it is
get
the
it, yeah.
Steelers, but it is good to see everybody in their motions. Bosa looks solid. Everybody looks solid as a solid team.
Dude,
Defense
Brandon
was
Ayuk
there.
balled
Yeah.
out. Dude.
Brandon Ayuk, two touchdowns.
129 yards. Crazy.
Debo didn't have the best game ever. He had 5 receptions with 55 yards. But, this is the first game they're going to start getting into their motion. Christian McCaffrey had 22 carries with 152 yards, his longest being a 65-yard, and then Brock Purdy, leading everything in 1929 with 220 yards, no picks, and 2 touchdowns. All in all, solid.
Not just because we're like, I'm a 49er fan and all that, but the team, like Chris, you were just saying, like, Debo didn't have the greatest game, and I agree with you. He had 5 for 55 yards. Brandon Ayuk led the receiving core on Sunday, obviously with 8 for 129 with 2 TDs. But when you have a team that's got so many weapons, you're gonna have to split that ball, So Debo knows I'm not gonna be getting the ball every time when I have George Kittle as a tight end and I have Brandon Ayuk on the other end. Christian McCaffrey obviously can do dump pass runs too. So it's a very built team right now. Brock Purdy looked good. Glad he's healthy again, and the defense still looks good. Fred Warner looking solid. So it's going to be a fun season for 49ers. Obviously, a lot of people, a lot of analysts have favored them to win the Super Bowl this year. Don't want to jinx that, though, because it's way too early to see. Like Chris said, they played the Steelers. So it's not a top-tier contender, but they did play the Steelers. 30-7
The
in the
Packers
final.
played the Bears, so
Exactly.
I like the Packers, but they played the Bears.
Yeah.
And, we
So,
beat the Bears. So
I'm not gonna hype it up as much as it needs to be because it's a big win. Team looks
We're not gonna
great,
do a
but
cowboy and giant
Exactly.
thing of going crazy.
Yeah.
This is
team looks good. Excited for the rest of the season. Now, Chris, do we have the little violin? Do you still have that soundbite? Or do you not have that?
I got it
soundbite?
right here, bro. Do you want me to play it right now?
Play it right now. This is to our Jets fans.
This guy, man.
You got the win, bro, but a very unfortunate way to get that win with losing such a great QB in Aaron Rodgers.
Unbelievable.
I think Chris, you had told me before we started recording, it was like a total playtime of like 70 something seconds.
Correct.
Achilles tendon popped, and he's out for the rest of the season.
Did y'all see the video where
Crazy.
it's like a slow motion when he got tackled?
Yeah, dude.
His
You see
Achilles
it.
popped and his calf was like shaking.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that video?
Yeah. So
It's in slow motion. It was like, juk, 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 juk.
it's stupid unfortunate because, man, everybody, myself included, Domo,
Shouldn't have gone
everybody.
to the Jets. Shouldn't have gone there.
Not what I was going to say.
I mean, they did a whole thing about like the greatest quarterbacks they've had, and it went back to like the 60s.
Yeah.
So they've had nobody, and then he shows up, and bam, there you go. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it said all the New Yorkers go back to their shitty apartments and blah blah blah.
it sucks because like I was looking forward to seeing him in the Jets. It was weird at first, honestly, when he took the first the first snap, and it was in that like
I was
green.
about to say couple, bro. He only had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, like in that.
I think it was 3.
Yeah, and it was like that weird shade of green because I'm so used to seeing him in that green and yellow coloring.
Yeah.
And so it was just definitely weird, but it was, I don't know, man, just very unfortunate way for him to end his season. And a lot of speculation on him and career ending just because of his age and all that stuff, too. So it sucks, man. It sucks to be a Jets fan, but you guys did win. You guys did beat the powerhouse team that is the Buffalo Bills. But a very unfortunate way to get that dub was with Aaron Rodgers going out in the first in the first minute or so, and he's out for the season, so there's not any hope for him coming back.
Yeah.
Now, a question for the boys:
So
are they still playoff
I'm a Rodgers
contenders?
fan, obviously.
Are they
And
going to make the
I was talking to
playoff
somebody
push
earlier
now
today after
with
work.
Zach Wilson behind center?
Not that I
There's
spent my whole life
speculations.
watching Rodgers, but it was like half my life was watching Brett Favre. The other half has been watching Rodgers with Green Bay, and this is the first time, like I mentioned earlier, it's in the 30 years we've only had 2 quarterbacks. You know,
Yeah.
so now it's the Jordan Love era, but. With Rodgers going to the Jets, I'm not a Jets fan. I've never watched Jets games. I didn't watch last night's game, but I was hoping for Aaron Rodgers to have like a
Solid
because
game.
a lot of people with the solid game, but a solid season, and maybe if they don't win Super Bowl, maybe MVP or something like that again.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just Rodgers drama, Rodgers this, Rodgers that, and I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, but Rodgers is good though, and I know everybody agrees that he's good. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, holy shit! Like, in a sense of good thing we got rid of him. In a sense, like 3 snaps later, it would have been done with anyways. You know,
Yep.
if it were to be in Green Bay. But at the same time, I feel bad. Like, man, and I don't. Everybody said, "Do you think he's going to retire?" That's a hard injury to come back from, and he's older. I don't think he's going to want to go out like that. You know what I mean? He's got 4 MVPs. He's won a Super Bowl. He set all these passing records and touched, especially touchdown to interception ratio record. I don't think you'd want to go out like that in a sense of like Brady was the same thing. Like, why do you keep playing? You don't need to play anymore. He's not Brady, obviously. I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is the end for him. Obviously, it's the end of the season, but I think he'll at least play 1 more year and have like a decent year, or all the other times where he's been injured, he's got bad knees, he's got bad this. He's always followed up with a really good season or
like
one MVP.
he has a comeback season straight after
He
an
comes
injury.
back. He had 2 knee injuries, 1 MVPs after that, and then Green Bay drafted Jordan Love. He won MVP after that, so maybe I think he comes back.
I would love to see it, but him being 39 years old and with an Achilles injury, it'd be awesome to see. But he played a total of 75 seconds yesterday, and
4 snaps.
3-4 snaps in, and he's out for season. And obviously, I had the Jets because of him, and I wanted to see a great season from him on that side. I had them going to the Super Bowl. I can't change it apparently, so
don't change.
Bite the bullet, and that's fine.
Don't change it. Don't bite the bullet. Don't change it. They could still go. They won.
Yeah,
it's not like the season's over. They still fucking won. Like,
yeah,
correct.
I mean,
but what I was gonna say is that Josh Allen on the Bills side, he threw 3 picks yesterday, bro.
Yeah, he had a
horrible game. And I'm not knocking the Jets at all, but Zach Wilson is, to me, not that guy.
No,
I agree.
And
I think all Jets fans and the players probably know.
And then there's speculation.
You go from Rodgers to Zach Wilson. It's 2 different
It's big,
things.
yeah. But there's speculations on who they can sign. Obviously, there's a lot of still free agents, people coming out of retirement. There's a big speculation with Tom Brady coming out of retirement. That's not going to happen, I don't think. But don't mark my words on it because you never know. But there is like Matt Ryan, Nick Foles.
I'm not going to listen to
a potential pickup. Colin Kaepernick has contacted the Jets office as well. So they can make maneuvers to get a good solid QB. Not saying Kaepernick is a good solid QB, but just saying that there are still some free agents out there. They may want to, if they really want to take it serious and not follow through with Zach Wilson, which I don't think they should, because like Chris said, I don't think he's that guy for them. But we've been proven wrong before with second string QBs, i.e. Brock Purdy, third string QBs coming in and playing their hearts out because they know they got to make a name for themselves. So it could happen. Yeah. It could be the motivation that he may need, but I just think it's unfortunate to see Aaron Rodgers go out that way. Domo, I kind of agree with you. I don't think that he will go out this way, like he's going to end his career this way. I do think that he'll come back and have a redeem season, especially for the Jets organization, with him signing them and stuff. I did see a meme afterwards that was like, well, Rondo Cobb is now sitting in the locker room like, well, I'm about to get cut then because they only signed him when they signed
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty
the Jets,
pretty
obviously.
much, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
And
the
this
Jets
goes
win,
along
though.
with like Aaron Rodgers trying to call the shots. Like, I want to
Yeah.
go here, I want to go there, or do this, do that. And I want these players and people bowing or teams bowing, like, okay, we'll get him, we'll get him, we'll get him.
Yeah.
You know, so when him going out, like you said, with Cobb, it's kind of like, well, the only reason why you're here is because he's here and he's no
Exactly.
longer playing.
So we don't
you're
need
now
you.
either going to retire or you're getting traded.
Forced retirement.
Or cut.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Here's a severance. Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks for nothing.
Open up a spot on the bench. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Yeah.
the Jets won 22-16. Like Domo said, the Jets, you guys still won, so it's not a bad thing. I mean, it sucks seeing Aaron Rodgers being carted off the field that way and the injury the way it was. But the Jets still have that winning record now, and Buffalo is down 0-1.
Yeah.
Powerhouse teams did take L's this week, but it is only week 1, so there's still a lot of more football to play. So it's not a worry, and don't get your hopes too high because it doesn't mean that you're going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. It's only 1 week at a time. You know what I mean? Like Carlos says, any given Sunday. But yeah, Chris, Josh Allen had a horrible performance, 62.7 QB rating, 1 TD, 3 interceptions.
Terrible.
That is not what you want from a top tier QB. Stephon Diggs did have 102 receiving yards with 10 targets with 1 TD. And then the Jets with Zach Wilson had a QB rating of 81.4, 140 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. Brees Hall had 127 rushing yards. And then Alan Lazard, ex-Packer, had 46 receiving yards, 4 targets.
Yep.
So still a lot of
He's another one like fuck.
that came. Yeah,
Fuck.
that came because of Rodgers. Yeah. So I don't know. I think
He's
that it's-
another one. I came over here. God damn it.
Should have stayed.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Jets do because, like Domo said, they were still a potential team last year. They're still potential now. It doesn't mean that their season's shitty, but I think everybody was looking
They got a
forward
good
to seeing
defense.
the Aaron Rodgers era begin over there and seeing what was going to
Not just
happen.
that, bro,
Yeah,
but just to
yeah,
mention
yeah,
their
yeah.
upcoming schedule, the Jets isn't the easiest. Next week they play the Cowboys. After that they play the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and then they play the Eagles in week 6. So like it's not an
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
schedule.
Nah, they got some competition coming up for sure.
Exactly. So that's why either Zach Wilson puts his big boy pants on and he goes out there and balls out literally, or he's just gonna be that quarterback that no one wanted.
Yeah.
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
One thing you can look at is you still have Rodgers on your team. He's not playing and all that stuff, but in the practices and stuff, he can
Mentor and
young
stuff.
Zach Wilson, like, hey, in a sense, like, and while he's wearing his boot and everything, he can barely move, but he can kind of help, like, hey, look at this, look at that. Here's a read, there's a read.
Yeah, he can still coach from
They're
the
gonna put him
sideline,
like,
if he wants to.
on a pillow.
On a pillow.
But
Damn, Aaron Rodgers.
it sucks
man.
though.
God
Like it
damn.
really does. Like I hate
I hope
seeing
he doesn't
injuries.
go out like this, man. I hope he doesn't like go
Nah.
out like this.
he's
As
gonna
a
sign
Packer
up.
fan, it's just like fuck, man. Like
After you said it though, like he has that redeem season after an injury. I feel like he is going to come back and have a good season next
he
season.
always comes back, but I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. He's been paid. I'm sure there's like a clause in the contract, like you get hurt your first year, blah blah blah. You get this much. The rest of the money goes back. But that would
Yeah,
that would
so-
be for him. He's not Brady. He didn't have 7 Super Bowls, but like at the same time, it's like he's one of the top quarterbacks to play the
Yeah.
game, and
Yeah.
if he were to go out this way, that's just fucking sad.
Yeah,
So-
that sucks.
I like that you mentioned like
Even
what's
yeah.
owed to him and stuff like that because with Aaron Rodgers, and I meant to bring this up, so it reminded me right now. With Aaron Rodgers done for the season, the Jets now will owe the Packers a 2nd-round pick in the 2024 draft. Rodgers had to play 65% of the snaps this season for the Packers to get the Jets' 2024 first-round pick. He played only 4 plays, so
Yeah,
they owe money to the Green Bay now.
They
or
owe
they
the
a draft
Packers,
pick.
but not much, not
Yeah.
much. If Rodgers
Yeah.
would have played really good, they owe him more. So if
Yeah.
anything, the Jets, with him being injured right now, they're on the winning side of it.
Yeah, so
It's a 4th-round pick. Not saying it's a bad thing, but
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's unfortunate seeing him go that way, but I mean hopefully he gets recovered pretty easily and has a great season next year. Now, boys, are you guys ready to
Ayahuasca,
do?
go smoke
Yeah,
some weed.
yeah, exactly. Are you guys ready to do our picks for next week, for this coming week in football in the NFL? Do you guys have your picks ready? We're gonna do 3 teams
Oh,
each.
I
I got
Doesn't
actually
have to.
don't.
It doesn't have to be the same game. Whatever you want, but you just pick 3, and then we're gonna keep a record for the season. We did have our picks for last week, but the episode did not process, like I said at the beginning,
Y'all,
so that record isn't on Spotify itself. But Domo does have that tally up.
somewhere.
So
I don't
somewhere.
have it up. I gotta find it.
He has
Still.
it
No, I don't.
somewhere, so
Why'd you
we
say
will.
I
We
have it up? I
will.
don't have it up.
No, he. I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking about the notes. Catch my drift.
My tally is up.
Yeah. So I'm. While you guys look for yours, I'll go ahead and do my 3 games for this week. 3 games that I think I'm
Start it
gonna
off.
enjoy watching. So the first one, I'm actually gonna go with Thursday night's game, which is the Vikings and the Eagles. The Eagles being 1-0, Vikings being 0-1. I'm gonna take the Eagles on that one, winning probably by a good margin, but I will take the Eagles winning on that. My second game, this is gonna be my shocker of the week, is the Raiders and Bills. I am gonna take Jimmy G and the Raiders winning that game. And then I think that my game of the
Wow.
week, yeah,
Shocked.
right. My game of the week. So Monday night
That's
there's a
crazy.
doubleheader: Saints, Panthers, Browns, Steelers. But my game of the week this week is going to be the Jets and the Cowboys, with the Jets winning it. I think the Jets are going to go 2-0 starting this year, and then the Cowboys are going to
Wow.
get humbled. Yeah,
We were just talking crap
So-
about Wilson, and you got him winning.
yeah, but
Okay.
I just think the Cowboys
I
are that
dig
bad. so those are going to be my 3. So I got
I'll
the Jets
go because
winning
I don't
it.
know.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna just say it again so I don't forget. Jets winning, Eagles winning, and Raiders beating the Bills. Go.
Okay. Mine, I'll go with San Fran and the Rams. I'm obviously gonna go San Fran on there. I will also go Green Bay versus Atlanta. I'm gonna go
Ooh.
Green Bay
Okay.
for that one. And then my last one, which is, I don't know if it's odd or what, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. I'm actually gonna go Tampa and the Bears, and I'm gonna go Tampa.
Okay. Solid picks.
Yeah.
Solid picks.
That's
Not-
like an
not too bad.
oddball one, but I would
Yeah.
like to see it.
Yep. Domo, we got ours, brother. Did you get yours?
Yes. So my first one is going to be the Ravens at the Bengals. I'm going to say the Bengals bounce back and Joe Burrow goes off. So I'm going
Okay.
to take the Bengals. I can't remember which one of y'all said it, but the Green Bay Packers at the Falcons. I'm going to say the Packers keep rolling, so I'm going to take the Packers.
I said the same thing.
And then, there you go. I can remember which one it was. And then Seahawks at Lions. I'm going to say the Lions keep rolling, and the Lions beat the Seahawks.
Ooh.
Oh, Lions keep
Okay.
rolling. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So
Those are
Bengals, Packers, Lions is what I got.
okay.
Nice.
Did you hear ours or did you not hear ours?
Yeah, no, I heard it. I just
You
couldn't
heard it?
remember.
Okay.
Well, I didn't write it down though.
Okay. So I had the Eagles beating the Vikings. I had the Raiders beating the Bills, and then I had the Jets beating the Cowboys.
Right.
Okay, mine was
Yeah.
Green Bay versus the Falcons, and I'm gonna go Green Bay. My 2 was the Bears versus the Bucks, and I chose the Bucks. And my last one was San Fran versus the Rams, and I'm gonna go the Niners. Those are my 3.
All right. So we'll keep record this
I get
year,
it.
and then at the end of the year, which we had made a bet last episode, but like I said, didn't process. So the winner of this season in our podcast will get a jersey of their choosing, whatever sport, and then the 3 losers are going to pitch in and pay for it, for the winner of the season with their record, and then the loser, the one that comes in dead last, will have to wear a losing team or their rival team's shirts or jersey if they want to buy it, but they have to purchase it themselves while we record an episode, and it will be uploaded to YouTube. So that's our punishment this year. So we will keep a record for that for the end of the season.
You're going to get cyberbullied.
Yeah, so you'll get cyberbullied.
As your
But
punishment.
I am excited for this week's games. I think that there's going to be a few good games that are going to be playing, and there's also a few shit games with the Giants and Cardinals being one of them. So I don't know, but I'm just glad football's back. Also, before we go into our top three for next week, we just want to let you guys know we are going to be bringing back breaking down people's careers, any kind of stats like that. We're going to be doing those and diving into the a certain player, athlete, team, controversy, and all that. So we'll be doing our segments a little bit different moving forward. We're going to start next week with an actual WWE athlete or WWF athlete, superstar, whatever you want to call them, with Chris Benoit's career downfall, all of that controversy that went down with it. That will be coming next week's episode, so tune into that. Now, our top three for this week. Oh, also, before we leave, college football, UTB, Bama. I know
I was going to
Domo's wearing it.
say,
Yeah, Domo's
before we
waiting
go
for me
into
to
the
say.
damn top three,
Domo, what are your
All right,
takes?
go ahead, Domo. Take the
Texas
stage.
is back. I've been waiting so long for this. You have to understand, born and raised in Austin, Texas, Mac Brown era. We weren't out of the top 10 for fucking 20 years. It was crazy. And they beat, I'm sorry, boys, they beat USC in 2005 for the national championship. I remember being there at the house.
Why do you
My
bring that
grandpa,
up?
rest in peace, he went to take a piss. That's the last time he won the championship. So he was going to take a piss. Vince Young ran it in. We're freaking out. My grandpa at the time, he had to have been 60 something, I'm guessing. He came running out, zipping up his zipper. What I miss? We just won. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that moment. It was unbelievable. And it's been struggle since then. And Texas has been supposed to be back for several years now. And I think we're back, man. I think we're back. Last year, we were talking before the pod started. Texas, they were good last year. They had a good season. Didn't make the playoffs and like that, national championship type stuff. But man, this year's it feels different, and I've been waiting so long for this since high school. So
Texas is back, Domo.
I'm hyped up. Yeah, I'd say they're back. I think most of the country is saying they're back.
Yeah,
taking down Alabama. Like they went from number 11 to number 4 in the nation. So
yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy jump.
Their schedule is not too difficult, so they can't get too comfortable. But Steve Sarkisian, head coach, they have a lot of NFL ready talent ready to get drafted, and so I would imagine even if it's a great year, there's a lot of players that are going to leave because they're ready for the NFL. They got a lot of good talent. So
Texas is back, y'all.
I'm on a high right now. I'm on a high right now.
Yeah,
so
look, I'm gonna root for them, not because I
I
like the team, but just so you can stop shoving it in my face that they won the championship against USC in 2005.
When I text the group chat about Texas winning, and I send the little thing, and nobody responded. I had one ready with Vince Young just like walking it in. I was ready to just, as soon as one of y'all said something, I was going to snipe you. Like, oh. Somebody say something.
Please. Somebody, please.
Nobody said nothing. So I didn't want to start no shit.
Yeah, so Texas is back. Good luck this year. Hopefully you guys win it. So Domo gonna stop bringing up the 2005 championship game.
I'm always going to bring it up. I'll never forget it. It was amazing. The town. I was in high school. The town was fucking buzzing. It was unbelievable.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
I'll never forget it.
I think like Texas football itself has always been such a highlight when it comes to college football. So you always kind of see their highlights mainly, and everybody knows their iconic colors, logo, and all that stuff. So so it's definitely an
Everybody
iconic
likes
school.
The horns down.
The horns down or whatever. Yeah. So it's definitely an iconic school and college football organization. So if they are back, I mean, they did beat Bama. So in Bama. So that's a big win for sure. So it's definitely a potential season.
Can't argue as a road game. Can't argue.
Yeah, you can't argue it at all. So it's definitely an iconic. So best of luck, Texas. This year, speaking of iconic, our top 3 iconic stuff today is going to be top 3 NFL logos. Any NFL team logo that just pops to you, could be old or classic or one that you really like or enjoy. That's going to be our top 3 today. Boys, do you guys have y'all's ready or not yet?
Yeah. Whoever wants to go first can go first. I don't care.
Go ahead, Domo. I'll close it out.
I'm gonna do number 3. I'm gonna do Green Bay just because it's just the G, like when you see that logo, you know what it is, or you mistake it for Georgia, but it's usually Green Bay. That's what you think of when you see the G. I'm gonna say number 2 is the LA Rams, but the old school LA Rams, not last year's LA Rams or the St. Louis Rams, but the old original LA Rams. I like the yellow, how it popped. It
Mhm.
looks real good. And not just because I'm living in Houston, but that was an iconic logo, and there's never
Oilers.
been one like that since. The Houston Oilers with the old Derek up there, the baby blue, lovely
Yeah.
blue. Um, and their players, Warren Moon, all that. That was a good
Those
logo.
are
The
fire,
old
bro.
Derek, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those are dope for sure. I like those. Chris?
Mine, I'm gonna start from 3 to 1. Mine is the Eagles. Just growing up, with Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick there, it's just two iconic
Mm-hmm.
players there. But the logo itself is just, you see it, you know exactly who it goes to. My number 2 is going to be the Packers logo. Just, I don't know, I know it's not my team, but it's like you just know who it's for.
Mhm.
And my number 1 is actually a retro one. Is gonna be the Patriots, but the old Patriots one, not the current
Yes.
Yeah.
logo. I'm talking about the one
Is
where
it the
he's
one
like,
holding the football?
yeah, where he's like gonna about to snap it,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
from
there you
the
go.
original to 90. It ended in 92, and then they came up with the new one. So that's
Yeah.
my top 3 with the retro Patriots.
So that's gonna be my honorable mention is that Patriots logo.
I have an
But
honorable mention too.
my top 3 is going to be so Chris. I'm gonna agree with you. Top 3 for me is the Philadelphia Eagles. I really just their eagle really symbolizes like that's the Philly eagle. Like you can't confuse it.
History, bro.
For me at least. Number 2, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, is going to be the Oakland Raiders or the Vegas Raiders, I guess, just because that fucking pirate is looking
Yeah.
at you, and it's an Oakland
You're
Raider
right.
or a Vegas Raider.
You know when you go to the game, you're getting in a fist fight. That's what's going to happen.
You're
When
right.
you go to
Though.
that game, don't put a phone book on you. You might get stabbed. Just watch out.
Yeah, and then my number 1, and this one I don't know why, but for me it was just maybe because I loved Randy Moss growing up, but it was the Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota.
I had them on my
That
honorable mentions, bro.
that is just a sick ass logo to me. It always has been, and I've just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mention is that Patriots logo, or you can go with the old school Bucks logo, with the pirate biting the little pocket knife that he has in his mouth. Old school Buck one, like the orange one.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That is dope. Yeah.
That was mine.
My honorable mention was actually the old. It's not their name anymore, but Redskins
Yeah.
logo.
Yep.
But it's just iconic. You knew who it was for. Unfortunately,
Yes.
it had to be changed, but it is what it is. The W just doesn't like symbolize anything. It's just a big W. I'm like, all right, bro.
I guess yeah. It's whack.
It's not winning. They don't win, so it's not a win. It means something else. They can win it.
But yeah, that's
my honorable mention would be Pittsburgh, not because they really haven't changed it, but it's old school.
Yeah.
Especially that they'll do like the flat, not maybe flat black, but like there's like not a gloss on the helmet on some games, and it looks dope because like every hit there's like a scar.
Yeah.
I do like
dope.
the flat
I still
one
have
there.
the thing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that.
And I
flat.
like it because that's when Aaron Rodgers and the Packers beat him. 2010. Going my way. That's dope.
Yeah. There's so many like old school logos. I just feel like those looked way better than what currently is on there.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at like
I
old school
agree.
logos right
I
now,
agree.
like the Cleveland Browns, that little fucking elf that they have. That shit was way better than the stuff that it's just they don't have a logo right now. Like on their
No,
helmet,
it's just
you
like
know what I mean?
it's an orange helmet.
Yeah.
With like a stripe.
Yeah, it's
down
not
the
even
center.
brown. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why is it brown?
What the fuck?
Cleveland, the mistake on the lake.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there on the lake, it's a mistake on the lake.
Exactly. Ooh, the Falcons one, the old school one, that shit was tight.
That's
With
nice,
the
too.
Falcon with
With
the
the wings straight down.
Yeah.
that
The
was
wings are
sick.
straight down.
Yeah, the Michael Vick era. Yeah. But yeah, so that's our top 3 for today. We will be back next week. We're hoping that Carlos can come back and join us next week or in the next coming weeks. Kind of weird without him here. But we're hoping that he can figure out the internet stuff that he's got going on so we can get him back on. That's our top 3 for today. That is our episode for today. It was just a bunch of NFL stuff. Do not forget that the UCL is the Champions League is starting soon. Premier League is off right now. Wrestling is going on. You got the baseball playoffs coming up. NBA season starting soon. NHL season is going to start soon. So there's so many sports. We can't hit them all. So tonight's was really just focused around week 1 of the NFL. I enjoyed tonight's episode. I hope everybody else
And the
did
Texas
too.
Longhorns.
Oh yeah, and Texas, yeah, yeah, go Texas, I guess. But yeah, that's gonna be our
I
episode for
guess.
tonight. We will be, we'll upload this episode once we get all the stuff figured out. We're gonna start using our social media more, so follow us on that social media platforms. Reviewing the call, TikTok and Instagram. Shoot us a message on Instagram. That's the quickest way we respond. Other than that, boys, it's been a hell of a night. Chris, take us out with our song. We will be back next week with Chris Benoit's career downfall. Peace out, yo.
And